Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about 1.4 sketching intersections. You get to draw a little bit today, which is fun for you. So we will be, again, the objective today will be to sketch simple figures and their intersections. And we're going to learn about intersections and have a couple of postulates that go along with it. So we're going to have two vocab words, and here they are. So please write these down in your notebook and I will discuss them. It says in geometry, figures intersect if they have any points in common. So if you look at two lines that look like this, they will intersect. And if they intersect, it means they cross over each other because they have that point in common. So if they have one point in common, they do intersect. The intersection of two or more figures is the point or points that the figures have in common. All right. So do notice that they can have more than one point, but they need to at least have one point in common if they are going to intersect. So they can intersect at more than one point. All right, so these are the two postulates that we do need to know. So please take your time now and write it down, and I will explain them in just a second. So pause and write these down. Okay, so looking at these postulates, it says if two lines intersect, then they intersect at exactly one point. So I'm going to go back to my, lines here. So if they cross each other, they will always intersect at one point, because remember, these lines are just an infinite number of points going on and on and on forever that are connected. If they intersect, two lines intersect, they will always intersect at exactly one point. Just exactly one point. Okay? Now if we have two planes, and forgive me about my planes, because the drawings are not always the greatest. Okay, Alright, so when they intersect, and they intersect right here, so this one's going up and down, the red one's going up and down, blue one's going across, and they will intersect at this part right there, because that intersection, those planes are going down. They intersect at a plane, intersect at a line, because those planes go on and on and on forever, and they extend on and on and on forever. They intersect at exactly one line. Okay. Exactly one line. So we have a couple of problems here. Do your best to write this shape down. It does look ugly, and this right here, that is an X. Okay. So please write this down, and I want you to finish these two questions. Take your time now. Pause. Give her a shot. All right, so now if we look at name the intersection of planes X and Y. Okay, so as I'm looking at plane X, I'm looking at plane X, which is right here, and I'm looking at plane Y right here. We know that two planes, if they do intersect, they intersect at one what? One line. Yep, they do intersect at one line. So if I'm looking at that intersection, which is going to be this line right there, so that looks like line P. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little arrow, capital P, line P. All right, so they intersect at line P. So now looking at this, next question, it says name the intersection of Z and X. I'm looking at Z and X. I see Z is on the right, and X, we already noticed where X was, so we have the two black planes here, and we look at them and we're looking for their intersection point. Now, if you notice these two, what are they not doing? They're not intersecting at all. So it says name the intersection of the planes. Well, they do not intersect. You can't label the intersection of the planes if they don't intersect at all. Okay, little tricks. Hopefully you got that one and notice that one. So nice work. Moving on. Notice you don't have to write this down, but do as you draw shapes, use a dashed line to show hidden parts of any figure that are drawn or that you are drawing. A dashed line will indicate the part of a figure that is not seen. So if I look at, let's say I make a plane and I have a line that's going to intersect that plane. It's going to come down here, and then underneath it, see that dashed line is going to go underneath it where I cannot technically see it. So that would be, you would use that dashed line to indicate the part of the figure that is not seen. So you wouldn't be able to see that. That's why it's dashed, kind of. Yep. Alright, here we go. Sketching. We're going to sketch a little bit. So, I want you to sketch two lines intersecting at exactly one point and two planes intersecting at exactly one line. So, try these. I've written a couple of these examples down. We'll see if you can do it on your own. First one, I believe, is very easy. There's a line. There's another line. They intersect together, which means they cross at one point, the big point right there, and you're done. Two lines, they intersect at one point, that's it. Okay, two planes. This is where Mr. Schemann's art is not very good. Alright, so we have one plane, I'm going to call that plane M, and the next one, I'm going to have another plane that goes down like this. Ooh, that, because that figure is hidden, I'm going to have that as a dashed line. And this is going to go all the way here, and then dashed line there, and I'm going to call that plane S. So two lines intersecting at one line, and we can show that they intersect by showing that intersection line right there. Very nice. And that MSN, ooh, MSNBC. Okay, so those are our two planes intersecting at one line. They always intersect at one line. Two planes, one line. Two lines, 1 point. All right. Last slide of the day. So please try to draw this as best you can. Notice that I drew this perfectly almost. I'm going to cheat a little bit with a computer, but I did, or this is drawn, so draw it please, and name 3 different intersections that you see above in this figure. Here we go. Alright, the very first thing is 3 different intersections. I notice, as I'm looking at this, I notice that plane T, as an ugly T, and plane N intersect at line BD. Okay, so that's one. Very first one. Plane J and plane T and plane N intersect at one line, which is going to be line D. Okay, the second intersection that I see, or another one, I notice that line AC intersects, ooh, almost misspelled it, line BD at point C. Okay, that's the second one. Third one, the last but not least, the lovely number 3. If you can see it hidden in there, you will notice that AC not only intersects BD, but AC also intersects okay, that does say intersect right there. AC intersects plane C, plane T. Okay, you will notice that AC not only intersects BD, but if you look up here, you will notice it will come to point C, and it intersects and goes underneath plane T. Okay, so it goes underneath plane T, as you can see with that dashed line all the way down. So it does intersect plane T. That's all I have for you today. Come back tomorrow ready for your homework.